Hello, welcome to My Messy Fingers. I'm Charlie. I have made a new tutorial featuring Stamperia's Masquerade. What I worked with on this was one of the 10 sheet 12 by 12 and one of the 22 sheet 12 by 12 and then a pack of ephemera. Now I will tell you, coming right up into this, this is a single flap album that I made. Typically, I work with a lot of paper, but this particular 22 pack, by time you strip from it the cut aparts and the cards and everything, you're only left with 16 sheets. So what we started out with was 22 and it drops down. So I just want you to have a heads up because you're going to find that also in that 10 pack, you're going to have a lot of extras that you're going to cut out. So what I did was on this album was maximize the images as much as I could. So on the front of this album, there is this image that's actually on the piece of paper, but I fussy cut this out of the cut aparts page, elevated her up by popping her up, putting in some of the stars out of the ephemera, put in some gold gems. I cut this out, Dance Without Boundaries. That says a lot to me, you know, when you're looking at life in general. And then the moon, which is ephemera. These are ephemera. And then these are also from the ephemera. I've got the brass pieces that came with the collection acting as the corner. I used one of the ephemera here on the spine, and then masks on, and then I used one of the ephemera pieces here for the bottom on the back. Now the ribbon is a gold chevron, glittered gold chevron. It is from my stash. Then when you open this up, this is going to be our first signature. Now again, these are only single flap, but I'm maximizing what I can on the images. I used a scallop die from my stash to add as an accent. This brass piece is from the collection that was sent to me by Scrap and Create. A gold gem. We've popped up some floral. I did a lot of floral cutting. Made a nice small pocket tuck here on the front, and I've popped this up. Then when we open this up on the violin, I used one of the small brass pieces that came in with the collection, popped up some floral here and this one. And then when you open this up, I've got a long pocket over here, and then I've got a big pocket tuck here, an ephemera piece, a gold piece, and then I used one of the round circles for a nice little tuck. Here, this image is just gorgeous. So I carefully cut in, out, and around her. I did not cut this. I wanted that to actually look like it was behind her face. But I elevated her up on some chipboard, put her back into place, and then I cut out some floral to accent here. Opening this up, the opposite page for her, I moved this, Unleash Joy and Happiness, because I didn't want it to mess with my magnet. The butterfly, elevated a floral piece right there. Then when you open this up on the inside, there is a sheet in the collection that has this set of eyes in the upper left corner. That sheet was full of images that if I tried to cut it or trim it, I was really messing with them. So I cut that piece of paper into individual images, and I've used it throughout. So here we have a nice little tuck, and then these two here open up. So we've got 4 photo opportunities as well as this. This is fussy cut. And then I cut this, saved it. I used a lot of my scraps for images. Here's some ephemera pieces, and this is a large ephemera piece. And then over here, I elevated this floral that came off the cut aparts page and then used one of the masks as a tuck. Then we get on this side. This piece of paper had this image on it, so I cut it out, elevated it, went to the second cut aparts page, cut this image out. It's the same one that I cut out here on the front of the album. Elevated it just a little bit, placed it over the window, and then I cut some floral, came in underneath the window, and then cut out some more floral and came over the top of the window, so there was a little bit of layered elevation here. You open this up. This is pretty much left alone. I just put the quoted saying there. But you come over here and we've got a photo opportunity. We have a tuck. And then you've got a couple of images of fans that are in the paper collection and the cut aparts, but this particular fan came off that 12 by 12 sheet that I'm kind of cutting apart, the one that had the set of eyes on it. So I used it, backed it on some cardstock, added a gold gem here, the butterfly. These little things here, flowers and butterfly, came out of the ephemera pack, so I just accented the fan. And here's another tuck, and then we've got a nice saying here. Over here, I used one of the round circle elements to decorate the pocket and then put best memories. And then again, we have a tuck over here and the photo opportunity. And then here, this was a challenge, but I think I worked it out, and I did my best to explain this in the video that has to do with this. But this piece, this panel, is built from the cut of a 12 by 12. I cut the 12 by 12 at a diagonal after I separated this piece. So I came up, cut that, separated it, and then the remaining piece I cut at a diagonal between the clock and the moon. So actually this line here sits here on the 12 by 12. Added a statement that says sparkly nights. Up here, throughout the cuttings and working with different pieces of paper, this was in my scrap, which it matches what's underneath. I just simply cut this out, elevated it, and put it on there. On the inside, we've got various tucks with some ephemera. And here's a nice pocket with an ephemera. I've created a pocket over here as well, using one of the ephemera. And then we've got a pocket back here. And then we've got another pocket sitting here. So that is how I came about that particular page. I like the different diagonal cut. It changes things up a little bit. All right, here on this signature, the two halves, I did fussy cut out. I wanted to add some blue. These are almost all in beige. So I went to that floral sheet and I fussy cut out the floral so that I could kind of change and give element. When you work this piece of paper, there was a moon up here in the right corner. So I used the moon from the ephemera pack to add back. Then when you open it up, this was the image that was on the left side. I did fussy cut out some of the smaller floral, popped them up, and then we've got the butterfly right here. On the inside, each one of these is a tuck, and these are fussy cut off of the cut apart page, as well as this one, and it's a tuck from the bottom to the top. Photo, and then a big pocket here, you can put photos. This is one of the ephemera pieces, and it is wild. I just love that, and I wanted to use it, so I'm putting it here. This was one of the last pieces where I cut the peacock feathers off that 12 by 12 sheet where the set of eyes came from, and I'm accented it behind her. And then the last one, this is simply a big pocket. I only had 2 sheets of paper left. So one was used as the base page, and then the second sheet had this image again with this statement down here. This came out of my scraps. So the curtain here, I just simply cut it to fit across, and then I made a fairly deep, large pocket for those bigger items. I fussy cut her out. There were 2 other peacock feathers. I didn't want to mess with them, so I just simply cut around. I've elevated her, elevated this little flower element, and that is it. That is my album featuring Stamperia's Masquerade, and I want to thank Scrap and Create for sending this collection to me. It was fun working with it. It was a challenge, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you haven't bought the collection yet, please swing on by Scrap and Create, and all the links or any information that's deemed necessary will be down below in the description field. There is going to be some information on this signature down below in the description field, and I do believe as well as this one here. I changed my elements, so I've added in the description field what I changed. So be sure to check down there. There's some good information. All right, so until the next one, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.